Picture this. You're sitting down after a long day, and instead of reaching for another pill bottle or scrolling through endless ads promising miracle fixes, you hold a simple, steaming cup of tea. Now, you might think, tea? Really? That can't possibly change anything at my age. But here's the truth. Sometimes the simplest rituals unlock the biggest transformations. For men over 50, performance and energy don't just fade because of age. They fade because our bodies stop getting the daily support they once naturally had. Stress builds, circulation slows, hormones wobble. But what if I told you that the solution doesn't have to be complicated, expensive, or synthetic? I've spoken with men who tried everything from supplements to prescription meds, and most confess that nothing felt natural, nothing felt sustainable. That's when a very old idea became new again, using tea as medicine. Across cultures, from Asia's ginseng traditions to India's Ayurvedic spice blends, tea has been more than a drink. It's been a way to restore vitality, calm the mind, and fuel the body. And here's where this gets exciting. The warmth of tea alone relaxes the nervous system, making blood flow easier. But when you add the right ingredients, it becomes more than a comfort. It becomes a performance ritual. Not in the sense of a quick fix, but as a daily investment in strength, confidence, and health. In this video, I'm not going to tell you to rely on another miracle product. Instead, I'll walk you through how 5 simple, natural ingredients, things you can easily find, can turn an ordinary evening drink into a quiet revolution for your body. So stay with me, because what starts as a cup of tea might just become the turning point in how you age, how you love, and how you live. Why tea works, rewritten with commentary. Now, let's pause for a moment and ask the big question. Why tea? Why would a warm cup have any real impact on circulation, hormones, or stamina? It sounds almost too simple, but that's exactly the point. The most powerful solutions often hide in simple sight. Think about it. When you sip something warm, your body responds instantly. The heat itself relaxes muscles, eases tension, and most importantly, encourages blood vessels to open. That means blood doesn't just trickle through sluggishly, it flows more freely, carrying oxygen and nutrients to every part of you, including the areas that matter most for confidence and performance. And tea isn't just about temperature, it's also about delivery. The water acts like a carrier, pulling active compounds from herbs and spices and rushing them straight into your system. That's why ancient cultures leaned on tea for healing, instead of just chewing raw roots or tossing spices into meals. In China, green tea and ginseng were rituals for strength. In India, Ayurveda built entire blends of ginger, cinnamon, and cardamom to spark circulation. Even in Europe, people turned to chamomile or mint before bed to calm nerves and aid sleep. Here's where I add my personal perspective. I've seen people underestimate tea because it feels too ordinary. I had an older neighbor, let's call him Tom, who used to laugh at the idea of tea helping anything beyond a sore throat. But after years of sleepless nights and constant fatigue, he gave it a try. Just a simple nightly blend with ginger and honey. Within 2 weeks, he admitted, "I don't know what's happening, but I feel lighter in the mornings." Not younger, not magically fixed, but lighter, more himself. That's the hidden magic of tea. It works gradually, gently, but steadily. Unlike pills that often come with side effects, tea is sustainable. You don't dread taking it, you look forward to it. It becomes part of your evening, part of how you signal to your body it's time to rest, repair, and recharge. That ritual is as important as the ingredients themselves. So, tea works on 2 levels. It's science, yes, better circulation, faster absorption, hormone support, but it's also psychology. The act of preparing and drinking it reminds you daily that you are investing in yourself. And believe me, that mindset shift can be just as powerful as the nutrients in the cup. The ingredients, nature's gentle allies. All right, now that we know why tea can be powerful, let's talk about what goes into this special blend. This isn't about tossing random spices into hot water. Each ingredient has a purpose, and together they create a chain reaction that supports your body on multiple levels. Ginger, the spark of circulation. Let's start with ginger, the fiery root you've probably seen in every kitchen. But don't let its simplicity fool you. Ginger is like the spark plug of this tea. It gently widens blood vessels, improves circulation, and delivers oxygen where it's most needed. Here's a story. A close friend of mine in his 50s struggled with cold hands and feet, which is often a sign of poor circulation. He started drinking ginger tea in the evenings. Within 10 days, he told me, it feels like my body remembered how to stay warm again. That's exactly what ginger does. It wakes up your system, almost like reminding it of what it used to do effortlessly. Pomegranate, the protector. Now, ginger may spark circulation, but pomegranate is the shield. This fruit is loaded with antioxidants that repair and protect blood vessels from years of stress, diet, and aging. Even more important, it boosts nitric oxide, the very signal your body needs to create firmness during intimacy. I'll be honest here, I used to think pomegranate was overrated, just a trendy superfood. Then I tried adding a spoonful of pomegranate concentrate to my evening drink. It wasn't dramatic at first, but after a few weeks, I noticed not just better energy, but smoother workouts and a stronger sense of stamina. It's subtle, but powerful, like quietly rebuilding the foundation of a house. Cinnamon, the balancer. Next up is cinnamon. Most of us think of it as something you sprinkle on dessert, but for men over 50, it's a hidden weapon. Why? Because it helps regulate blood sugar, and high blood sugar silently damages blood vessels, making it harder to achieve or maintain performance. I once worked with a man who had constant afternoon crashes. He'd feel foggy and drained by 3 p.m. We swapped out his sugary snacks for tea infused with cinnamon. Within weeks, those crashes disappeared. He told me he felt more even, more steady throughout the day. That's the cinnamon effect. Not a burst, but balance. Ginseng, the fuel. Then there's ginseng, the root that's been called the king of herbs. Unlike caffeine, which gives you a spike and crash, ginseng provides steady energy and supports nitric oxide production. It's like putting premium fuel into an older engine. One of my patients once joked that ginseng was his midlife secret weapon. He wasn't wrong. Within a month of using ginseng tea, he not only felt stronger in intimacy, but also sharper at work. That's the beauty of ginseng. It fuels both body and mind. Finally, honey, the finishing touch. It's more than a sweetener. It's the ingredient that ties the whole ritual together. Honey delivers steady energy, minerals that help balance hormones, and just enough sweetness to make the tea enjoyable. And here's my personal tip. Choose raw honey if you can. The first time I switched from processed honey to raw honey, I noticed the taste was richer, almost alive. That richness is exactly what your body feels too. More minerals, more nourishment, less empty sugar. Here's the magic. Ginger sparks circulation, pomegranate protects nestles, cinnamon balances blood sugar, ginseng fuels stamina, and honey restores energy. Each one is powerful alone, but together they're like a symphony, each instrument playing its part to create harmony in your body. And that's why I don't call this just tea. I call it a nightly investment. Every sip is a reminder that you're supporting your heart, your energy, your hormones, and yes, your performance. Preparation and ritual. Turning ingredients into a daily investment. Now that you know the ingredients, the real question is, how do you bring them together in a way that actually works? Let me tell you, this isn't just a recipe, it's a ritual. And the ritual itself is half the magic. Step 1, the foundation. Start with fresh water in a pot. As you set it on the stove, you're not just heating liquid, you're preparing your body for renewal. Slice a few thin pieces of ginger root and drop in a cinnamon stick. Let them simmer gently for 10 minutes. Slowly, the kitchen fills with a warm, spicy aroma. Already, you're engaging more than your body, you're engaging your senses. I like to think of this first step as laying the foundation of a house. Ginger and cinnamon set the tone. One sparks, one balances. Step 2, the strengthener. Now it's time to add pomegranate. This is the protector of your vessels, the bright, tangy burst that rebuilds from the inside out. You can stir in a spoonful of concentrate or crush fresh seeds and let them steep. Either way, you're not just flavoring the tea, you're reminding your blood vessels to stay flexible, open, and strong. I often tell people, listen closely here. As the seeds pop and release their juice, imagine your arteries doing the same, opening, relaxing, coming back to life. Next, add your ginseng. If you have a piece of root, let it steep for 10 to 15 minutes. If you're using powder, half a teaspoon is enough. The taste is earthy, maybe even a little bitter, but that's the taste of ancient strength. And if it feels too strong, blend it with the sweetness of pomegranate or a touch of honey. When I first tried ginseng, I expected a jolt like coffee, but instead it was subtle. No spike, no crash, just a steady, grounded energy. That's the kind of fuel your body needs after 50. Step 4, the finishing touch. Finally, stir in a teaspoon of raw honey. As it melts into the warmth, it doesn't just sweeten the drink, it softens the entire experience. It nourishes, replenishes, and smooths the edges of your day. And here's the key: don't rush. Take that mug in your hands, sip slowly, and let the warmth spread. Notice how your shoulders drop, how your chest feels lighter, how your mind begins to quiet. This isn't about gulping down nutrients, it's about telling your body, now we rest, now we restore. I want to share something personal. When I first made this tea, I treated it like any other task. Boil water, add ingredients, done. But over time, I realized the real power came when I slowed down, when I allowed it to be a ritual. Lighting a small candle, breathing in the steam, sitting without a phone for just 10 minutes. That's when it stopped being just tea and became a signal to my body. The day is over, it's time to heal. And I think that's why so many men see results, not just because of the compounds, but because of the consistency and the mindset shift. Results and transformations. What happens after weeks of consistency? Now, you might be wondering, all right, I've mooed the tea, I've committed to the ritual, but what actually changes? The truth is, results don't happen in one night. This isn't a caffeine rush or a pharmaceutical spike. It's gradual, like watching the seasons shift. Subtle at first, but undeniable over time. The first week, gentle shifts. In the first 7 days, many men report something surprisingly simple: better sleep. The combination of warmth, ginger's gentle spark, and honey's calming energy creates a state of relaxation that helps the body wind down. I remember speaking with a man named Alan, age 55, who struggled with restless nights. He told me, "I didn't notice a huge difference in intimacy yet, but I woke up less groggy. For me, that was already a win." That's how it begins with rest, because nothing works without quality sleep. The second week, energy returns. By week 2, things get interesting. Circulation improves, mornings feel lighter, and energy feels steadier throughout the day. It's not about becoming a 25-year-old again, it's about feeling capable, awake, and more alive. A retired engineer I knew, Peter, used to drag through his afternoons. 2 weeks into this tea routine, he laughed and said, "My wife noticed before I did. She said I was less grumpy in the evenings. I didn't even realize how tired I had been until I wasn't." The third week, confidence awakens. Around week 3, the changes often move into intimacy and performance. Firmer mornings, steadier stamina, a calmer approach to intimacy. These are the kinds of quiet victories that bring confidence back. One man I worked with, Raj, age 58, told me, "It wasn't just that things worked better physically, it was that I stopped dreading the moment. I stopped overthinking. I felt present again." That's the kind of shift no pill can buy, because it's not just about the body, it's about the mind. Beyond 3 weeks, a new normal. Consistency is everything here. Over a month or more, men often report that the tea isn't just boosting performance, it's reshaping their routines. They look forward to that quiet moment at night. They feel stronger in the mornings. Their partners notice. Their own self-image shifts. And let's not forget, the benefits ripple outward. Improved heart health, steadier blood sugar, reduced inflammation. These aren't just performance boosters, they're life boosters. Why these stories matter? You might notice something about these stories. None of these men claimed they became superheroes overnight. What they experienced was more powerful than that. They regained trust in their own bodies. That's why I emphasize this isn't about a quick fix. It's about creating a new normal, where you wake up steady, face the day with energy, and approach intimacy with calm confidence, rather than fear. And to me, that's the real transformation, not just stronger performance, but stronger belief in yourself. So, what can we learn from all of this? What does 1 cup of tea in the evening really teach us? The first lesson is small habits create big shifts. Most men don't lose performance overnight. It's a slow slide of stress, poor circulation, and neglect. The way back isn't overnight either, but a consistent, nourishing habit like this tea can gently reverse years of quiet decline. The second lesson is nature works with your body, not against it. Ginger, pomegranate, cinnamon, ginseng, honey, they aren't magic tricks. They're tools nature has offered for centuries. When used together, they don't just target one issue. They support your whole system: circulation, hormones, energy, and even your mood. The third lesson is ritual matters as much as chemistry. Science explains the compounds, but psychology explains the results. When you prepare tea slowly, sip it with intention, and make it part of your evening rhythm, your body listens. It starts to expect rest, repair, and balance. That mindset is powerful medicine in itself. And here's a more personal reflection. I've seen men in their 50s, 60s, even 70s light up when they realize their best years aren't gone. They simply needed to remind their bodies how to respond, how to flow, how to restore. A warm cup of tea won't make you 25 again, but it can help you feel like yourself again, steady, confident, alive. So tonight, instead of scrolling your phone or reaching for another quick fix, consider trying this ritual. Gather the ingredients: ginger for spark, pomegranate for protection, cinnamon for balance, ginseng for fuel, honey for restoration. Simmer them, sip them slowly, and let the warmth remind you you are still strong, still capable, still full of life. Your best years are not behind you. They're waiting on the other side of small, consistent choices. And maybe, just maybe, it all begins with a cup of tea.